Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Shred Your Halo with my friend Jharna and me. So, today we are going back to our series that we were doing, which we interrupted a couple of weeks ago with the COVID video. So, I hope you're all safe and keeping yourself healthy mentally. And that brings us to the topic. You'll see what I did there. We're going to talk about what makes for a healthy mental diet. Mental diet. I am so funny. Okay. Even if I do say so myself. Right. Okay. Without much ado, Jana, what would you consider to be a healthy mental state for a person to have?
Honestly, I'm still figuring it out myself because there are times when I don't feel very healthy in my mind. That's not to say that I am unstable. That's not what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
But what I mean is a healthy mental diet would be to have some sort of balance in your approach to getting information and giving information out. And a lot of it has to do with what you consume as well and what you're exposed to a lot. Because with a lot of things on the social, especially when it comes to social media, right? Because that's how we connect with people, that's how we connect with the world more so than ever right now because of the pandemic. The amount of information that we consume and the things that we're exposed to when we switch on the internet and go on our browser or go on to Instagram, Facebook, the things that are right in our faces is all about how everything is quite chaotic, and that can be information which we consume that can create a lot of chaos in your mind. So to be able to decide what feels right and what doesn't feel right for you, there has to be some amount of discernment in understanding whether this is helping you or not. So if you have a very chaotic state of mind where you are running from pillar to post every second of every day, that shows that you're not in a very good mental space. And this can also lead to a lot of other health related issues like anxiety, depression, and a host of other mental health related issues where you feel like you may need to get professional help to help sort out a lot of the issues. So if you're exposed to a lot of information that is not doing you much good in the long run, if it is in the service of becoming better and being able to see things more clearly, more objectively, if you're exposed to that kind of information, it makes sense. But constantly being in the presence of information that's going to harm you in the long run is not a very good mental diet, I would presume.
Yeah. Right. For me, how I have discovered a healthy mental state would be a mind that is under our control, as opposed to a runway train. I remember many years ago when I started understanding that I was at the mercy of my own thoughts. That is an extremely unhealthy mind to live with. So my mind would grasp on to the worst case scenario because our survival depends on it and would run with it. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not that, it's something else. It's one catastrophic event after another, prophesying doom and giving me anxiety and panic attacks simply because the reality that I was seeing didn't mirror the worst case scenario I was living in. So, and on how can you say it, the speed, if the speed, if there are no brakes to your brain, if there are no brakes to your train of thought, that is an unhealthy mind. So that's number one. Number two, you will understand that your health and when I was in that catastrophizing mindset, when I went on social media, without my control, I was consuming the same sort of things that would make the snowball bigger, turn it into an avalanche. That's all I was doing. So even though my intentions were good, wherein I wanted to go in and seek some sort of help, I landed up validating the runway train of doom that was my thoughts. And this is what, so living under the power of our mind is an unhealthy state to live in. A healthy mind would be a mind where your thoughts, you're able to pause, stop, and like the Matrix, right? So you stop that thought and you're able to go 360 degrees around it and analyze it. Analyze it from different perspectives, from different moods, with different scenarios. You're also able to take that thought, put it in a different scenario, and see if it is valid in other scenarios. If it is not, then you know that it is an extremely subjective. It's an extremely objective reality. This is the only place where this thought can exist. Everywhere else, it's not making any sense. So you should be able to have a 360-degree view of your own thoughts. You should be able to, number one, pause and stop them enough to have a 360-degree view. And then you should be able to take that thought or that belief, put it in other scenarios, other realities, in other people's lives, in a different timeline of our own life, and see whether it's valid. So come up with, have a sort of a dialogue with yourself. If you're not able to do any of this, and then if we should be able to take criticism. No, I'm wrong. Nobody is capable of taking criticism, but we should be receptive to critique of our minds. I'm completely shut to criticism. Fuck off. I can't anymore. But I love it when somebody like Jharna or other friends watch my life and say, you know what? This is a pattern that I'm seeing. It hurts. But it is true, right? Somebody has seen it and they've observed it and they're telling me that this is a pattern. So able to take critique, an objective description of my patterns is a sign of a healthy mind. Doesn't mean it hurts any less. It hurts tremendously. But being able to have that, being surrounded by people who you've opened the doorway to come in and critique you like that, that shows that you have a healthy mind, right? So these are some of the signs and symptoms that I feel are of a healthy mind, and a runway train is pretty much an unhealthy mind. And you made a very, very, very valid point, Jharna, about therapy, about going and having counseling and sorting your brain out. Could you give, if you're okay with it, could you give us some anecdotal example of how your thought process was before your therapy and later on, if it's something you're willing to share?
It's not specific incidents. Of course, I can talk about it in a very bird's eye view, cursory way. I think before I went to therapy, I was so sure about everything. So sure about everything. When I went there,
Yeah.
I had to start my life over, and I think
So
I was also at that state where I was like, my God, I'm 30 years old. How am I going to start my life all over again? So I didn't enjoy therapy at all. But it was the best thing that I did for myself.
But that's the whole point of therapy, isn't it? You're not supposed to enjoy it. It's not supposed to feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think sometimes I also have a tendency to intellectualize my issues so I don't actually have to experience them. So that is something I'm noticing more clearly now, because if I'm in some sort of discomfort, or if there is something that I'm going through that does not feel pleasant, and most things that we go through don't feel very pleasant, In some instances, I see that I intellectualize it and try to give it a spin that my mind can conceive of, but physically, I don't want to experience that. So, therapy was something that helped me um, understand that it's okay to have negative experiences as well, and that doesn't make you any less or less of a person just because you're having negative experiences. So therapy was honestly fuck all, but it was the best thing that I did for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helped me a lot. It really helped me a lot. And if I were to do it all over again for, sorry, if I were to do it all over again and if I had to go to therapy again, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would recommend it to anybody because sometimes we get so in our own heads, right? And there are certain things we can't even talk about with our closest friends, closest family, because we're scared of how it might sound to them, or we're dumping too much on them and they're not equipped to handle what you're going through. So a therapist coming into that position really, really helps. So there was a lot of challenging ideas that I had to face, and nobody had ever challenged me before. And everybody would either agree with me or they would fight and rebel. So either way, it wasn't helpful. When somebody rebels against you, you just sort of dig your heels in harder and you hold on to your point of view just because you feel attacked and you feel defensive. You have to protect that wound or that issue that you're trying to protect. But in therapy, it's a very safe space to talk to the person. Again, it depends entirely on the therapist. Not all therapists are equal. Some of them can be therapists who come in with their own set of issues and they're not able to look at you very objectively. So it depends on which therapist you're talking to. But if you're looking at a scenario where the therapist is there only to assist you, only to help you out, then you understand that it's a safe space to talk about certain things, get a set of ideas, get another perspective, and see how you can apply it to your life. So it was, I mean, hands down the best money I've ever spent. So yeah, it definitely helped me a lot.
Right. So,
You.
do you have any suggestions for developing a healthy mind, Jana?
Um, I I do I think I've recommended this in literally every video, the work of Byron Katie, because it actually addresses directly the beliefs and the thoughts that you have. And because it's a written form of meditation, there is it's just like stream of consciousness writing, right? You write what your thought is and then you start detailing why you feel a certain way about certain things, and then you come to an idea of what other perspective you can lend to this particular thought. That's, I think, by far the most effective form of addressing my thought process. I think that's been the most effective so far because I've been able to address a lot of my core beliefs. And because it's not just one core belief, so you have one belief, when you start doing the process, you realize so much more attached to it, and then you start unplugging from the matrix one by one, one by one. So if we think that addressing our mind is just going to happen and we'll be done with it, it's never going to end. It's just something you're going to keep doing every single day. And that's one thing. Therapy, of course, is another thing. And of course, the third thing is meditation, because meditation helps you observe your thoughts like a third person, like you're looking at your thoughts. You're literally removing yourself from that situation and you're looking at your thoughts directly. Sometimes we tend to get a little enmeshed with it, but then again, meditation, the objective is to step back and watch. So these are three things that I think are very helpful in addressing your mind specifically.
Right. Um, I truly believe that an untrained mind cannot help but be an unhealthy mind. So just like everything in our life, we do well in life simply because we've gone to college, we've gotten a degree, we are exercising the discipline of of having been students, and then we become professionals. So likewise, if we don't train our mind in our personal lives, it's going to be an unhealthy mind. Let's just start with that baseline. So all of us start with an unhealthy, untrained mind. An indisciplined mind is a mind that is not loved, and as a result of not being loved, our mind is unhealthy. So number one, let's start off with identifying certain bastions. There are certain things that people will not touch. It could be beliefs like my parents are the best, or I'm a patriot, or you should, God, you should have blind faith. So there are untouchable parts of our mind. There are lots of people's. In my head, I call it bastion thoughts. So it is like, oh, you know. So there are no more words. There's no dialogue. There's just noises. Nobody's allowed to reach them. Then there are biases. The biases could be, oh, my caste is the greatest. Oh, my gender is the best. And oh, only if you are an engineer, and that too, only a software engineer, you'll come up in life. Otherwise, you'll starve in the gutters in the middle of Mount Road. So that is there. So those are biases that we have. So we have bastions, and then we have biases. Biases are open to a little bit of discussion, but what happens is we'll tend to be birds of a feather that flock together. So all the computer software engineers will be one flock, and then they'll be frightened and be with themselves. And then all the doctors will be one flock, things like that. So biases tend to be the flock we flock with. So take a look at the people that you hang out with most of your time, and that will give you an idea of your bias. And then, of course, comes our experience, which is going to be jaded by our bastion and our biases. So our experience is nothing but just an opinion. It's not the truth. An unhealthy mind will cling to our experience as if it is the truth. And that's where the work by Byron Katie would come in. What I would recommend, first of all, is number one, start with these little experiential biases that we have. Let's start off with beliefs like, okay, this COVID is just going to kill every Indian. Maybe I have that belief, and that is frightening me and paralyzing me in bed, and I'm not able to function. And as a result, if I do the work by Byron Katie, it empowers me to think differently. And slowly from there, I can step into my biases, which have deeper roots. And then I can touch my bastions, things that I would have otherwise just never touched, like my parents are right, my tradition is good. South Indian food is the best food in the whole world, and nothing comes close to it. That is a bastion I am willing to die with, by the way. My mind will not be changed about that. But having said, so we start with little challenges. And every time our mind stretches, it has to come back to a semblance of equilibrium. So we find that every time we challenge, it is a bit of a trauma. And then comes a period of withdrawing and recovering. So we shouldn't think that we have gone back to square zero, you know. So every time we're stretched, we won't come back to ground zero. We will be a little bit expanded in the places that we were rigid in. And then slowly, 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 let every thought be open for examination, for inquiry. And like you said, the work by Byron Katie, the never-ending process of uncovering the real truths, not the truths that have been passed on through generations, but what is organically true for us. Do you want to add some more, Jharna?
It's like you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Your entire life is going to be like that. It doesn't mean you have failed.
That's so encouraging. I can't wait to start this journey. 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Here I come.
And then and then we think we've hit rock bottom, but no, you haven't. You will find another one.
Oh,
Just
the
right on
encouragement
the spot.
today, my God.
So, it doesn't mean that you're failing life. It doesn't mean that you are a failure. It doesn't mean any of those things. And again, that's another belief, right? We tend to want to cling on to certain beliefs that don't serve us because we've just known it all our lives. So it shouldn't stop you from trying to stretch your mind just a little bit more and even question the fact that if I'm taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, I'm a failure. Question that. So questioning every single thing that you think is essential in stretching your mind. Don't believe everything that you think because that can be the end of so many new opportunities that you have to actually explore whatever it is that you're looking to explore. So it's never going to end. I think it's very important to make peace with the fact that it's never going to end. And that's just going to make it just a little easier for you to continue doing the work.
Yes. I would recommend reading a lot because you can inhabit so many people's lives and experiences through their thoughts and through the words. So it's always good. I love self-help books, and I've decided to sandwich my self-help books with novels. So I don't become like this type A nightmare, which so self-help books, when they give you certain advices, we grow up with a ear full and brain full of advices given by our parents. It's nice to hear a different voice, a different perspective. If you follow everything that your parents said and taught you, and you got influenced by, you land up like your parents. If that is your aim in life, then good for you. Go ahead with that. But if you want something different, you have to have different thoughts. You have to have different perspectives. So read a lot of autobiographies, read a lot of self-help books. I've lots of psychology books. This is not to immediately become a psychologist, but to also understand the workings of our mind, right? Um, Watch a lot of inspirational talks. I'm a big fan, even though I don't practice it, I'm a big fan of debates. I love having like I have certain beliefs, and theoretically in my mind, I always think it is good to have a dialogue with a person with a differing point of view. So I'm not sure I can hold a healthy debate with anybody from the BJP party at this moment in time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can hold a healthy debate with anybody who is anti-gay or anti-trans or anti-anything. I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I can have a healthy debate or a conversation with a pedophile or a psychopath. I'm not sure. The reason I'm saying I'm not sure is because I don't want to. And I'd rather say I'm not sure. I just genuinely don't want to have anything to do with these people. I really don't.
You just said both of those things.
Yeah, I don't, yes. But here is it. That is unhealthy. That is unhealthy. If because I have such I tried watching this documentary on BJP because I wanted to have a deeper understanding about. Uh, it was difficult for me to understand the party and the other fundamentalist roots of BJP, but I understand the people that follow that party, and I have great empathy for them now, which I didn't before. Before then, I just thought they were like mindless minions out to destroy my nation, right? But now I understand. I get it. And it's given me empathy. It's made my mind a little bit peaceful, which I didn't experience this peace before. When I thought, oh, the right wing fundamentalist bullshit people, But now I'm softer, and I can feel my body unclench as a result of. I don't ascribe to, and I cannot understand um, people who are homophobic. But I watched recently this documentary about a person who was a gay man all through his 20s and then decided to go convert himself into a straight person, get married, and he's got children now. And he is talking about how being gay is against God's will, and now he's a preacher and a pastor. While that was I don't think I can go and convert myself into becoming a gay person. I'm set in stone straight, so I don't know how that happened for him. But this is his narrative, and I was able to watch the entire documentary and have. I'm not sure what I got from it. I'm more confused than I was before, but it's made me softer. It's made me understand that there's different perspectives, that I don't have to know where is this narcissism coming from. I need to know all the perspectives. I will not. I will know as many perspectives. Let me know as many as I possibly can. That makes me a softer, gentler, decent human being to live with. So, challenging our beliefs, being open to different cultures, knowing that other cultures are valid, not just, I'm India, and so everybody has no culture and no value. Ballet, Chichi, this is not Bharatanatyam. What are you doing? No, let's be open a little bit and embrace other people's differences and let them be different and we can be different too. And so these are simpler ways in which we can start our journey towards having a healthy mind. Travel, if you have the means for it. If not, watch a lot of cultural programs from around the world. If possible, have a very healthy debate with people who are, if you believe in God, have a conversation with an atheist. Or if that's not possible, watch documentaries, challenge yourself. And then, of course, read books. Read self-help books if that is too heavy for you. Read autobiographies of people that you admire that did things differently from what we historically know to do. So these are simple ways in which you can start your mental health journey. And then slowly you can go into the work by Byron Katie. You can, of course, avail of counseling, therapy, and then invite critique, move into different circles, and radically change your life. Do you have anything else to add, Jharna?
I think engaging in some activities that allows for play is also a good idea to
Yes.
sharpen your mind and quieten your mind. Anything that you think might help you in just relaxing a little bit. Because if you're tight and clenched all the time, where do you have the energy to expand your mind?
Yes.
So anything that you think will help you in just relaxing, please do that.
Yes, that's very, very good. That's a very good suggestion. So we've covered it up quite well, I think. So thank you for joining us for this episode of Shred Your Halo with my best friend Jharna and me. And we'll join you in another couple of weeks with another topic. Till then, be safe, take good care of yourself, take good care of your mind. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so you'll be reminded every time we upload our video. Till then, stay safe and we love you.